evening. Today I'm going to be talking about how to build soil fertility in the fall so that you can have the most success in the spring. I'm going to be going over how to do it in raised beds, how to do it in your food forest, in your guilds, and then also one great way to do it in your vegetable garden. This one video could really save you so much time next year. Building the soil fertility now is going to make next year so much more successful and a lot easier to grow the things that you love. It's going to give you a much bigger harvest, and it's going to keep those pests and diseases away from your garden a lot more, because when you have healthy soil, you have healthy plants, and when your plants are healthy, the bugs that are bad, the diseases that you don't want, they're all a lot more hesitant to come in and take advantage of your plants. And if you're interested in content like this, tips and tricks in the garden, hacks, food forest, permaculture techniques, all sorts of really good stuff, herbalism, apothecaries, homesteading, if that's your jam, subscribe below and you'll get access to all that content whenever it comes out. So let's start off in the food forest. This is a place where we've got a lot of things that we should do our chop and drops with, right? And so as we lay those down below the main items in our guilds, which is our fruit trees, that will also feed the soil around them for all our things like our shrubs and stuff like that. So our main soil builder, well, the one that I have, the main soil builder is comfrey. This is not going to fix the nitrogen, but it is going to give nutrients and minerals and vitamins and all sorts of really good food for the soil and make it healthier and stronger. Lots of stuff, nutrients to give to your plants as they get into it next spring and they start really growing and building themselves up more. And so comfrey is going to be a big heavy hitter here. And I love comfrey because it's so easy. It is one of our easiest plants to handle as far as building soil fertility. Let me show you how to get that set up so that all you have to do is let it decompose over the winter and it feeds the fruit trees and the shrubs surrounding it with little to no effort of your own. Remember, in permaculture and our food forest, what we really want is low input, which means not a lot of work, and high output. Lots of good stuff coming out, like small amount of work for my apple trees, lots of apples to harvest. That's what we're going for. So here is some of my comfrey, and it's right over where my blueberries are. I have a blueberry right here, and it is gone pretty much fully dormant. And so I'm going to take my foot, and I am going to just snap the branches of my comfrey and lay them down right next to my blueberry plant. Same thing over here. I've got my comfrey right next to my blueberry plant, and I'm just gonna stomp it down right there. It's that easy. So sometimes I have comfrey that's growing in places where I don't necessarily have a fruit tree or a berry bush growing right next to it. And this is what I'll do. Here's my comfrey. It's growing in my raised bed. And I rip off the leaves. Grab a couple more. Take my harvest, bring it over to the tree that I don't have a whole lot of comfrey growing around yet. And that would be right here, my beautiful little plum tree. And I lay it down. That's it. So it's basically free at this point. I paid for seeds for a few plants, planted them around my fruit trees, and as they flowered, I would rip off the flowering stem, place it underneath one of my fruit trees, new ones would grow from there, and now basically every place that I have a fruit tree or a fruiting bush, I just go over and I step on the leaves and layer them down. And I'll do this all throughout the summer too. They grow back very quickly, and so you can have a continuous feeding cycle of comfrey into your soil, and the comfrey just grows right back. And it's that easy. And I love when things are easy. I've got too many things taking up the rest of my time for gardening to be hard. Here's a comfrey. Wrap up those. Put it under the fruit tree. That decomposes over the winter, and lo and behold, we have something beautiful, nutritious, and healthy in the soil, ready to go in the spring. The fruit trees love it. The berry bushes love it. You can feed it to acidic-loving plants. You can feed it to alkaline-loving plants. All of it is really good. Just a side note, but look at these asters growing in the food forest. They're in full bloom. They're one of the last things to be blooming. Love it. Gotta feed those pollinators as long as possible, right? That's why I love having asters in the garden. Okay, now if you want to put nitrogen in your soil, you basically do the same thing, and I don't think I need to show you again. You just break it off and lay it down, right? So if you have guomi, break some off and put it down. If you have groundnut, break some off and put it down. If you've been growing beans or scarlet runner beans or peas or anything like that, break it off and lay it down. I've got this mimosa tree that I did not plant. It just kind of popped up here. And what I'm going to be doing, it's a bigger project. I'm going to cut it down to the base. All of the roots are going to start decomposing. And I want to kill it because I don't want a mimosa in my food forest. That's really not the tree that I want. I thought it was bundle flower, but it is not. But I'm going to chop up the branches and I'm going to lay those underneath my fruit trees and my other trees because it is a nitrogen fixer. And oftentimes if you see a plant that has leaves that are side by side like this and kind of look like this pattern, it's going to be a nitrogen fixer. That's when you see things like sea berry or Siberian pea shrub or even pea plants. You'll see that similar leaf pattern, and those are all nitrogen fixers. And you basically just break them off. Now is the time to do it. If you have them growing, put them underneath your fruit trees, put them underneath your berry bushes, and let the winter compost it. And then you've got really healthy soil in the spring, ready to support all that fruit production. Now, something I could do for my raised beds in my annual garden, my vegetable garden, right back here, is I could break down all of these plants that I see that are growing, and I could lay them down. I could put a black tarp over top of them. So the sun from now until spring beating down on that black tarp paper would heat up the plants and the soil, and it would compost them, and it would add all that compost and nutrients into the soil, and you'd be able to have some really rich soil ready to plant. It would pretty much be sterile. If you wanted to make sure that it was fully sterile, you would let it sit all through spring and then maybe just wait until summer to start planting your stuff. But you could start planting in spring, and all these plants will have decomposed at that point, because what you really are looking for greenery like this to decompose is about 6 months. And we have 7 months, if we started right now, until our last frost date in the spring. So now is a really great time to get these down. But what I don't want to do, I'm not doing that myself. I'll show you what I am going to do. There are so many pollinators that are going to be hibernating in these weeds and these herbs and these flowers that I grew this year here. And there are so many predatory wasps and good insects like ladybugs and things like that that are going to be hibernating in this over winter, that I am going to leave this up just for them. I want the good bugs to have a habitat to live in. If there was a problem that I could have had with pests, I'll have all the predatory and good bugs there in order to kind of mitigate that threat. Okay, so for the raised beds, I am going to be putting chicken manure in my raised beds, and I'm going to be putting fresh manure in and aged manure. This is definitely something that you guys want to do right now. So if you have access to any kind of manure at all, whether or not it's composted, get it in there now. And by the time spring comes along, that will have composted enough where it's healthy to put your seedlings in and put your seeds in. And usually manure takes about 6 months to compost, just like your stuff that I would have put underneath my black tarp. I am desperate for my watermelon to ripen. They have been taking their time, that's for sure. I've got all my hugelkultur raised beds right here, and my two that are next to the rock wall here, they are my oldest ones. My newest ones are these two that I have. Really, last year was the first year that I used them. And so the logs inside at the very bottom have been decomposing quite a lot. So let me show what's going on. So if you'll see, the soil has definitely dropped since I put it in this spring. You can see this is where it was up to, and it's definitely sunk a little bit, and that's just from settling and then also from things decomposing at the bottom of it. And so this one though is a little bit more farther along with the decomposing, so it doesn't sink as much. This one on the other hand though is quite decomposed, so you can actually see some of the wood at the bottom. All of this dirt that was on top has sunk so much. And so what my son is doing right now, he's helping me out, part of a project that he's doing. So you see, this is where our chicken coop is, and they have destroyed all the grass because that's what they do. But as it rains, all the litter from up here and all the poop that they drop around here gets washed down the bottom down here. And so my lovely son is helping me with this, but this is where all the chicken manure and everything ends up getting washed down the hill, and where we dump it, plus a bunch of old leaf litter that we end up putting down here in the fall. We haven't done that yet this year, but it's down here too. So now I'm putting fresh chicken manure and bedding, as well as old chicken manure and bedding that we've just been piling up down there, along with some rotted leaves at the bottom of the run. And I'm putting that in here, and I'm not afraid of putting the fresh manure in here because I'm not going to really be planting in these beds until next spring. And so that gives me a full 7 months. It gives me a good 7 months before I start really putting things in these beds. So usually what they say is let the chicken manure compost for about 6 months. And honestly, most of the stuff that he's bringing up has been down there for a few months already anyway. There is one load of fresh stuff, but that's okay. It's going to be mixed in between everything. So we're going to fill that up high in these beds, refresh all the nutrients. And since these are hugelkultur beds, we are definitely going to want to make sure that there is a lot of high nitrogen soil in here, because the breaking down of the wood at the bottom can soak in that nitrogen a lot. A lot of people won't tell you that about hugelkultur beds. They think it's the end all be all best thing you ever heard of, but you do have to put extra nitrogen in because the wood, as it decomposes, uses it up. My baby's talking. So that fresh manure as a really thick layer is going to be awesome in this. Also, since he's getting at the bottom of the hill which is basically in our forest, it's getting a lot of that mycorrhizal, good beneficial bacteria stuff that's growing in forest soil already. And we're adding that back to the bed, which is really great. I know it's already inoculated, but just having more is so good. And then after we get done filling that up really, really well, then I'm gonna put in another layer of compost, but this is gonna be like bagged compost from the store, and it's sterile. And then I don't have to worry about seedlings popping up, because all the stuff that might have seeds in it or anything that could bring weeds, because it's been out in the forest, right, for a year or two, won't be exposed to the sun. It won't be disturbed, so I won't have to worry about that as much. Some probably will still pop up, but it's not going to be that bad. I made these beds, these fenced off areas, to be able to be lifted off easily. They are shoddy at best. I was using free scrap materials and just spray painted them black so that they'd kind of blend in a little bit. So I can just lift these off, and then we can put the soil in really easily, and then put them back so that the chickens don't get in, and the cats and the dogs and stuff like that. And so it's nice to have those. Otherwise the chickens would just destroy them. This is some really good soil, and yeah, there's chicken manure in it, and that's awesome. But this is really, really great stuff. By the time that this rests until springtime, this is going to be gold. Okay, so here is the bed after my son has filled it up with all that leaf compost, leaf mold, and the chicken litter and some forest soil. It's definitely going to drop down again, so it's not going to be this full for long. As the winter progresses, this will settle. It's so nice to be able to fill these beds with something that's so nutritious. Once I cover that with compost, then I'll start planting my bulbs in it, and these are going to be filled with tulips. I'm going to put about 50 tulips in each bed, I think. I'm really, really excited. I think I'm going to be looking towards having these beds be more flower herb beds than vegetable beds next year, just because I'm going to be focusing a lot on getting the food forest in check. I'm going to be focusing a lot on getting my cottage garden built the way that I want it, and I will grow stuff in my green stock. My green stock has been such an amazing blessing here, especially because I can grow my leafy greens in it. I can put my kale in it. I can put my plants that take everyday harvesting, and I can keep this right next to my front door. And that is a main tenet of the permaculture system, is everything that you harvest frequently on the daily, or animals that you need to take care of once a day or twice a day, you want those as close to your front door as possible. And this green stock has really, really, really done a great job for me. I'm actually partnering now with Greenstock. I've had this for years. I only just partnered with them recently because I definitely said yes to partnering with them, because I just love their products so much and I want to share it with the world. And if I'm sharing it with the world, I might as well give you guys a code that can give you guys $10 off. And right now they are having a crazy sale, 60% off, 70% off on some of their styles. And the colors that they have right now are so much more pretty than the terracotta, although I do love this because it's going to go along with all the different pots that I have if I get smaller pots as well. It's harder to find those raspberry colors like they have online, but they are having a crazy sale. So I would check them out if I could right now. Get it ready so that in the spring you're ready to go. And if you want that code, the code is Faye Hollow Homestead. It'll get you $10 off any order that you make. It's not a ton, but it helps, right? And then you can have something that's so easy to take care of right outside your door. I mean, look at all those pockets. And the cool thing is the pockets go really, really deep. So if you look under here, they have all of that soil to grow in. It's not just the little pockets, so the roots can go deep into it. I grew beets in this, I grew carrots in this, and they did really, really well. I'm thinking I might put some strawberries in here next year, just because I have so many starts in the food forest that it's easy for me to bring some over here as well. And then my toddler, when we're out here, he can just come over here and grab some berries when it's time. So easy. And then all you do is you fill up this top bucket part, and then that waters all of the pockets. So you don't have to actually water each individual pocket. This does it for you. You just fill this up, throw a bucket full of water in it once a day, call your plants green and healthy, and that's it. So definitely check that out. Use my code Homestead. You get $10 off. Super awesome product. I love it. It's been a staple here. Okay, so that's how you can make your soil super healthy for next spring by doing stuff today, now in the fall. And this is definitely something that you're going to want to do because it soaks in over the winter along with all that snow. Did you guys know that snow actually adds nitrogen to your soil as well? So it's really good to have your garden beds open and available for snow to land on and for that snow melt to get into the soil. Really, really healthy for them. And it'll just compost. It'll be perfect for you in the spring. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you got any value out of it at all, or if you appreciate the effort that I put into trying to bring you guys good content, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm so much and helps get this video out to more people and helps support our homestead here. So I really appreciate it. And let me know what kind of things you're doing to get your garden bed ready for spring now in the fall. So have a great evening and stay blessed.